welcome to a Pasta Grannies Live. I'm Vicky Benison and this is
Jonny Murphy.
Jonny Murphy, and I'm very pleased to welcome you to the flat, to Pasta Grannies headquarters.
Thank you very much.
Now, what's the connection? First of all, Jonny, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I used to play professional rugby and then unfortunately had to retire due to concussion. And I always had a passion for baking and started a wholesale bakery in Galway. Moved home with the same sort of plan, and then the social media side sort of just snowballed. And now I'm standing, well, a lot's happened between that, but now I'm standing here, so it's been a crazy year.
And the Pasta Grannies connection is his nan.
Yeah, no, my nanny, well, I'd say she's probably taught me everything, to be honest, but she's very special and I'm very lucky to have her, and probably that's where my passion for it sort of stemmed from. She would have looked after me and my little sister, summer holidays and stuff, and if I wasn't in the garage getting in the way with my granda, I was making jams and breads and treats. So that's quite a big influence on my life. And
is there one particular recipe that you love above all of your nan's?
I'd say it'd probably have to be sort of like traditional breads, soda fars especially. I made some to bring along. That's a soda far. So it's like a traditional Northern Irish bread.
Is it like a soda bread?
Yeah, similar, but it's funny, like in Ireland, Northern Ireland, there's quite a variance in what, you know, probably like little different pockets have different names for things.
So like,
yeah, so like a soda bread in Galway would actually be what I would think of as a wheaten bread. So this is very unique to Northern Ireland and probably parts of Scotland as well. So soda fars, but like you've heard of an Ulster fry, have you?
No.
No. So, well,
who's heard of an Ulster fry? Ulster fry?
Well, that's another thing. You've got your full English, you've got a full Irish, then there's an Ulster fry which would have your potato fars that we're going to make and soda fars. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and then also we had one earlier. Me and my friend John. Just you cut it in half and you'd have it filled with bacon, sausage, fried egg, whatever, and then whatever sauce you'd like. So.
That sounds good.
Does you for the day.
Yeah. Okay. So can we just look? But Johnny's going to be making gnocchi, right, in a minute. But first of all, let's just take a look at this man.
Yeah, worked well for you. That's what
I no, thank you. I'm very curious. Who else is curious about this soda far? There we are.
We got people from Brazil, Boston, Texas, Holland, Tokyo.
So Pasta Grannies audience is global. So Ulster fry is probably as alien as a full English.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between these are breakfasts that we're talking about?
Like your full Irish would have your black pudding and white pudding, where Ulster fry would have fried soda fars, fried potato bread. You'd also have vegetable roll, which there's not a lot of vegetables in it. It's pretty much meat. And then beef sausages are a big thing back home, where you wouldn't get them sort of on mainland UK or in Ireland. It's don't know why. It's just something the butchers.
So beef sausage, 100%.
Yeah, just like a pork sausage. Like obviously you have it like maybe a small bit of fat in it, but it's primarily just beef.
Beef. So it's almost similar to an Italian sausage, which is also 100% meat. So there are lots of commonalities, aren't there? I'm suddenly discovering about Northern Irish cooking.
So people are asking, what are we making?
Well, I'm setting Jonny a challenge because potato farls are very similar in terms of recipe as gnocchi. And I thought if he can make farls, he can make gnocchi. So let's just see if he can.
No pressure.
So Jonny's going to have a go at making gnocchi for the very first time. All right, so any advice from you guys? What do you think it is about gnocchi?
We got more people from Bristol, France, Philadelphia.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pasta Grannies Live. This is Jonny Murphy, a retired rugby player who has been inspired by his nan to make a most lovely book.
Yeah.
So it's now a book. If you're inspired by Northern Irish recipes, which actually I think deserve a little bit more recognition.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Then go and buy his book. It's recently out.
Yeah.
Do we have a copy?
There's a copy on the way. We forgot to bring one.
There's someone at the back going, oh, maybe. No. Anyway, we'll kind of post a story with Jonny's book at the back. But anyway, so are you ready for? Okay, so tell us a little bit first of all about a potato far. What is that?
Well, like it would have been traditionally if you had any leftover potatoes from dinner, but a lot of people would joke you don't have leftover potatoes, so it's just your leftover potatoes, and you want them slightly warm. Put your butter and salt in, and your flour, and you just lightly knead it or mix it and knead it together into just a circle shape, about centimetre thick or so. And then you cut it into four, that's what farl is. It's like an Ulster Scot word for four or quarter. And then you would flour the top and then put it generally on a cast iron griddle, sort of big one like that. But just a dry frying pan or like a little electric griddle or crepe machine's perfect as well. So, but I think like you can always adapt.
Yeah.
I made those at John's house earlier with very little equipment, so you can just make do.
That's his friend behind.
Fan club.
It's the fan club. Okay, so potato farls have potato in them, as you would expect, and self-raising flour. That's right.
Yeah.
What's the ratio there? Is it roughly?
Oh, I should know this.
Okay, so while Jonny works that out, so with gnocchi, so for every kilo of potato, you use about 300 grams of flour, and the difference is that actually in Italy it's plain flour or 00 flour, and you can use 0 flour as well.
I think it's roughly the same actually.
Roughly the same, yeah.
Probably a little bit of
So the main thing is there isn't a raising agent with with gnocchis. So yeah.
Mike says your home is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Thought he was talking to me then.
Yes. So what we've done is we've already you don't want to watch potatoes boiling. So we boil these potatoes until they're tender. And your first task, Jonny, is to mash.
Yeah, I can do that.
So
Would
it's
you
probably
generally
easy. I would put it in there.
Yeah.
Easier.
See it cleaned up?
Yeah. And whilst you do that, I'm going to check on these potatoes, which are fine. So tell us how you got into baking again. Apart from your nan, you have a.
Yeah, so that's where it all started. Then I always would have made friends, like a birthday cake. We actually had a coffee morning in Galway for Galway Hospice with the team I played for, and I made a few things, and in not so many words, the lads were like, "You did not make those," and it turned into a little sort of tradition that on our tough training days or captain's run, I would have made stuff for the coffee room, and they would have just flicked me a couple of quid and revel out, and they always said, when you finish up, you should give it a go. And obviously, retirement came a little bit sooner, and it was a bit of a shock, and I just sort of threw myself into it.
Yeah.
And
so how did the concussion happen?
Obviously, there's.
You don't remember.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
No, it's a funny one. Obviously, like rugby, there's a lot of big collisions.
Yeah.
I've had a few knocks through my career, and then I was just having have you ever had a migraine?
No, I'm very grateful I don't.
Yeah, I was getting knocks, and it was sort of very like the same sort of symptoms, which obviously overlap each other, and I saw a specialist over in Birmingham, and he sort of gave me advice after doing the test and stuff that I should retire, and just sort of one of those ones, you only get one head, so just sort of had to do what I was told. So unfortunately had to finish up, and it's quite a tough transition, and a lot of the lads like we would talk that have finished, you do feel very guilty because you're so lucky to do that for 10, 15 years, so, and then you're like, well, why did I feel like this? I was so privileged, but it's probably just your identity in a way. So, and then overnight it's gone, and you're normally with 40, 50 like-minded lads doing the same thing, you're all very close, and then it was me just in like a four-walled room, like I love baking, but when you're on your own, just same stuff every day, it does get quite tedious. So, but like if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be doing everything else, and obviously wouldn't be here. So I think everything happens for a reason. Maybe in the moment you don't realise it, but I'm just very lucky that it's went this way.
Okay, and did it coincide with lockdown?
No, so actually I made a few things during lockdown, but more just to drop off at friends' houses and teammates. So it was actually a housemate was like, oh, I should do a little page, for that. It didn't get a lot of traction then. It was just me taking an odd photo of something, but just like my mates and stuff would have followed it. And then it's whenever I was doing the wholesale bakery in Galway, my sister said, oh, I should do recipe videos to get a little bit of traction, and slowly, it just sort of, next minute it was 10k, then it was 50, then 100, and the next minute it was 200,000, and it was just all a bit hectic. So it's mad how like I think social media can be demonised in ways, but I've been very lucky that like anyone that follows me is lovely, and it's just I'm very lucky just to be in that position. It can do a lot of good as well.
Yes. So how long did it take for you to reach 200,000 on Instagram?
I think it was like maybe one May it was like 10, and then Halloween time it was 50, and then at Christmas it was 100, and then by February it was like 200. So it was all very like quick. So obviously it can be. I know it goes like in peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's probably the biggest influx.
Wow.
Is that smooth enough for you?
Yes, I think so. Better check it.
Got a book delivery for you, Johnny.
Oh, thank you.
There it is, magically.
Just pop it up there, or where would you like it?
That's great.
I've actually found the potato far recipe.
Okay, good. Show everybody. So you're a star on Instagram. Have you done YouTube yet? Because this is a YouTube.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I did try and set it up, but I wouldn't be very tech savvy. So I do have a page, but there's nothing on it. I don't even know if there's any followers. So you can maybe give me a few tips.
Just be regular in your uploads.
Right, okay.
And persistent, I think, is the thing.
That's the next job.
Yeah. So who have we got? Who's joined recently?
Got Caroline,
Hi, Caroline.
Gabriela,
Gabriella, hi.
Oluchi,
Hi.
Claudia.
This is looking nice and smooth. Shall we show everybody? I'm going to take the glory. Johnny's hard work. Beautiful mashed potato. So for fun, I'm going to add this to the board because then we can see more easily what we're doing. So we'll put a bit on the board like that. Take that away.
Vicky, did you have any general tips for gnocchi?
Me.
Yeah.
For Johnny. Yeah, if you're feeling nervous, you can add an egg, which makes it a heavier.
No, I'm going in the deep end.
So tell me, what's the tricks? What are the key things for potato file? I mean, what do you have to remember?
You don't want your potato too warm. You want it warm enough that the butter will melt essentially. But it's too warm, it can be quite delicate, and then it also gets very, very sticky.
Yeah.
So probably just maybe like a lukewarm, just enough to melt the butter would be the best tip.
And I would say that's the same with this. Is you want it lukewarm, you want it you're able to handle it. Spread it out to cool down a bit. So grab your bench scrape there. Spread it out.
Is this the right way, is it?
I don't know.
You don't know, you keep
Just
quiet.
do it any
And
way
then
you
just
like.
sort of
So now you're just going to, how hot is it? Would you make potato farls with that?
maybe a little bit cooler. I'd
Yeah,
say.
so let's wait. I think the techniques are so similar that it's actually have a bit more confidence, and then that's better.
You don't want me making a fool out of myself?
No.
Is what you're saying?
No. So meanwhile, this is potato farls. This is what Johnny's used to making. Okay, and this is thanks to his nan. What's your nan called?
Mimi.
Mimi.
Yeah.
Lovely name. Yeah. So Mimi does not have the internet.
No.
So she's very analog, and so she's not joining us. She's not watching Johnny go live. Or,
No. I don't think she likes watching me. Like she never used to watch me play rugby. She only ever went to one game. Just she didn't want this. I don't know.
the
seeing-
stress.
Yeah, me getting bothered about.
Oh.
And I don't. I think she's listened. I've been on the radio a few times, and she's listened, but I don't think she's seen me do anything
Okay.
live in the flesh.
Right.
So,
Right. She prefers you at home.
Yeah, out of trouble.
Okay. Out of trouble. Well, are you the only grandson?
No, I've got a cousin James, and then I've got a cousin Louise, and then I've got a sister Emma. So
Okay.
there's 4 of us and 4 grandchildren, and then my dog's probably the favourite grandchild.
Okay.
Out of everyone, he gets
What kind of dog have you got?
golden retriever.
What's his name? Honey.
Rudy.
Rudy. Okay. So let's start adding this
Yeah. Yes.
in.
All in one, or
Spread it over and start kind of
folding it through.
folding it through.
Yeah.
That's better. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. So what is it that you actually like most about cooking, and how has it helped?
Probably like not even realizing it was it was sort of like mindfulness in a way,
Okay.
or like trying to think the best way to put it. Like, you know, it was sort of like a crutch. You know, obviously I had to retire quite suddenly, and it sort of distracted me quite well. And at the same time, unfortunately, when I had to retire, my uncle passed away, so my granny's brother. So there's quite a lot going on in the space of a couple of weeks, which is difficult. But then we probably didn't know. It was probably like therapy, me and Annie just doing recipes and stuff together. I was still down in Galway at this point, but you know, obviously there's a lot of grieving and stuff, and my nanny sort of, you know, hid away for a while, and she came down to Galway for a weekend, and I sort of saw a little change in her and my granda, and it was always, I said to her, oh, I'm not home next weekend, can you show me your soda far recipe? And she's like, yeah, so did that, and then, you know, as the months went on, she was the one, oh, you're home this weekend, what am I making? So it was quite, you know, unknowingly, it probably helped us quite a bit. So I'd definitely say, you know, baking and cooking, I find, I love doing it for other people. I think it's like a show of love. So it was just unknowingly a very like therapeutic thing for both of us.
Okay, with structure and focus.
Yeah.
Creating something, it's like gardening as well. I think it has a similar thing.
That's my granda's.
That's your grand.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've got a little vegetable patch out the back, so
Okay.
we grow potatoes.
So do you ever use his things in
Oh
yours?
yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
What, for example?
you'd probably be planting a few potatoes this week, so you'd be probably giving off that I'm not there to help. But potatoes,
Probably enough of that. Yeah.
beans, broad beans, peas, beetroot, just all. We've got some strawberries as well, things like that. We make jam with, so you know, just all sort of like stuff that would, you know, you can't get in the shop. It's so much nicer when it's like freshly grown. Probably same as any food.
Delicious. And what do you make yourself for breakfast usually?
Oh.
Potatoes are I'm just gonna.
I do like my meat, so probably like scrambled eggs, beef sausages, bacon, things like that.
You do that every day, even though you're not playing rugby?
Not every day. I probably have a late breakfast, but no, I would still do a good bit of training, just more for my head. Like,
Okay.
it's more of a release than anything. So, and plus I eat way too much, so it's probably a good thing.
Got Roy saying, love this channel. I live in Sicily and it's a great channel to learn how to make all the amazing food we have in Italy.
Oh, yes. Well, today it's Irish. Oh, no, it's not. It's Italian. I'm getting very confused. Potato farls. Well, it's actually the overlap between the two, isn't it? Good. So now we need. What do we think? Do we think we need any more potato in that? I mean, flour. Okay.
If it was potato bread, I think it'd be fine. Maybe a little bit, but I don't know.
A little. I think a tiny little bit, and then we're done.
Would you
So
need it
this
now?
is. I'll just give a brief one, just to make sure that it's all done. If it's sticky, then it needs a bit more flour. That's looking nice.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Mark says it's highly therapeutic. I think making gnocchi.
Yes. So this is the opposite of making pasta dough, because you go as far as you need. It's when you can see that the oh yeah, it's looking nice. So you can see that it's smooth and it's soft and it's holding together, and that's just what you need. Well done.
Thank you.
That's just it's that difficult.
Yeah.
No need to be worried. So
I'm more worried I'm gonna have to make this for everyone else.
Yeah, we all want dinner.
Yeah.
this is the next step is actually sort of making the sauce that goes with the gnocchi. But so that's good. Any questions from people?
Francesca just had a question.
Yeah.
She's saying, greetings from Greece. I will be in Milan next month and wondering what kind of pasta dish do you recommend to try?
Have you ever been to Milan?
Very briefly.
Okay.
Probably going through.
Yeah. Were you playing rugby then, or was it?
Yeah. I went over to watch a friend's brother actually play, and just like Dunleary's World Cup, and we were in and around Treviso. We went to Treviso as well.
Oh, yeah, there's some fun rugby club.
Yeah, and loads of, we got good pasta. Like, we were only there for 2 nights, so it wasn't a proper, you know, trip.
What about risotto al milanese?
Yeah, there's the risotto. The Casonse is that around there, and the scarpa knock, and there's the ravioli alla bergamasca. I think those are the ones outside Milan that are the pasta dishes. Sorry, slight deviation whilst there was a technical question on that. But basically Milan is like London in that everybody from everywhere else in Italy goes and lives in Milan. So you can get any pasta you want in Milan, and it'll be fabulous because the Milanese take their food very seriously indeed.
For a question for Mark, what do rugby players eat before a match to give them enough energy?
Before we would have a lot of pasta.
You would.
Yeah, I think it sort of depends. Like night before, you just have a good, you know, you want your carbs, you're sort of like carb loading for energy, and through the match, so like potatoes, your pastas, things like that, and just like sort of lean meat because you don't want to upset your stomach. And then depending just on the time of the match, like if it's an early kick off, you get up quite early and put, you know, eggs, toast, just stuff that's easy to get in because obviously you can get a bit nervous. And then closer to the game, you know, say maybe 90 minutes before, you'd have like jellies, you know, like sweets, things like that. Your sort of supplement like energy shakes and things. So it's nothing too crazy. It's just the basic, you know, building blocks really.
I think we got a comment from one of your friends saying, I hope Johnny's paying attention so he can recreate for a dinner.
Yes.
It felt like that.
So you can. This is feeling lovely and light and fluffy. This is looking great. Yeah. So what we're doing is kind of cutting it up into ribs, and then I will use another knife.
Vicky Tammy says, hello from Canada. I love all your videos. Have learned so much about pasta.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm glad. Let's try it. I'm gonna just the main thing. Let's get a couple of forks. So what I really like about gnocchi is you can create lots of different surfaces. The easiest one is forks, and you can also use the back of a cheese grater. We've got a cheese grater? Here we are, cheese graters. Like this, you can use the back, obviously not the front. Which one would you like to do? Try using a fork or a grater?
I'll go entry level with a fork.
Okay, that's good. So you kind of cut them all up with, people have different ways of doing it, but you're just basically doing little things like this. And traditionally it's Thursdays that gnocchi is eaten, isn't that right? The Italians that are watching? Thursday night is gnocchi night in Italy.
Yeah.
Is that a reason or just
No, it's just the way that it is. I think it's prior to no meat on. So here we have something like this.
Oh, uneven.
So what you're doing is.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't.
You're going to do that. Or you just leave them like this. You don't have to. Yeah.
Oh, there's a fork there.
There's a fork.
Michael said he wishes he could reach through the screen and feel the dough's texture.
Might be a little. It's a little bit soft. I think I might put
A bit more flour.
a bit more flour in it.
Yeah, I'm sort of stumbling at this point.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. Let's just we've not added all the flour, so let's just add a bit more. So it's not going to look good. That's it.
Do you want me to scrap these in?
I'll put it back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
The joy of cooking.
My nanny always says you can always add more, but you can't take it away.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. So let's put some more in.
I feel like I should ask, have you got a favourite pasta?
That's always like asking about your favourite child, I think. Yeah, so I always say when it's, I'm going to hand it back to you now, I think. Should be about that. There is lovely ravioli from Liguria, and it's called panzotti. And if you ever make it to Liguria, ask for panzotti, and it's stuffed full of foraged greens, stewed greens, and cheese, and then it has a walnut sauce that goes with it with
Is
garlic.
it like ravioli, is it?
Yeah, but they're shaped like little belly buttons. They're kind of like dimply things.
There's our next trip, sorry.
Right?
That's our next trip sorted.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Just rinse my hands.
Mike Henry says she loves chestnut polenta. Cheeky
Who
face.
does that? Who says that?
Mike Henry, who watched your Q&A where you you were explaining that the chestnut polenta was not your favourite.
Oh yeah, yes. Chestnut polenta for me is like a little bit searching. Let's put it that way. Chestnut polenta is where you get chestnut flour, which is very sweet, and then you add water and you make it. And it's like walnut paste.
No.
I'm not selling it, am I?
And then Michael, who said he wishes he could touch the dough through the screen,
Yes.
is also saying he's failed at making gnocchi many times, but he's going to follow this video and try again.
Yeah. I'll just put a bit more.
Trust me, if I can make it, anyone can.
You've got a non-trained expert in your midst.
Yeah,
That's you, Vicky.
that's me. Don't panic. This is the thing about being live, is that if you have to kind of recover it.
What's
Yeah.
what's your favorite sauce with gnocchi?
Just the straightforward tomato sauce. I think is the nicest one. You can do lots of things with it.
I'm definitely not good at the shaping part.
Well, you can leave it like that and just call it that's gnocchi like that is also fine.
No, I'm here to learn.
Yeah. No?
it's not.
What are the most common problems that you come into when you're making
Finding
gnocchi?
the dough, the most common problem is what we're having at the moment, which is getting the right consistency, because your potatoes will vary and your flour will vary, and it's about sort of finding enough of the making sure that it doesn't end up being too sticky, and at the same time trying not to overwork it. So these might be a little bit overworked by the end of it.
You can blame me for that.
No, I'm blaming you for that.
What happens?
You're definitely not at fault when you're the learner.
What happens if they're overworked? Just a bit chewier.
They just become a bit heavier, yeah. So,
Sean and JR from Kentucky say hello.
hi.
It's mad how the internet works. Like people
Is
in
it-
America
is it-
watching.
We've got people all over: Nigeria, Munich,
Nigeria,
and Germany, Canada,
Brazil,
Brazil, we got, yes.
Italy, of course.
Okay.
Holland.
I'm just putting those in. What's your favourite thing to make?
Me, I do love making soda flowers.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
So
just
these are
yeah.
those ones.
I think just because when they're fresh off the griddle, you also have to let them sit a little while and like wrap them up in like a clean tea towel, but like when they're still a bit warm with just some real butter on them, like
Oh
they're
yeah, some Irish butter, that would be
Yeah,
absolutely delicious.
so
They're
they're-
great products in Ireland, aren't they?
hard to make them.
And what's your favourite recipe from the book?
I've probably like I love the soda flowers. I think it's because people think that they're quite difficult to make, but they're actually not.
Yeah.
There's quite a few in there. I do love my nanny's tarts. There's a rhubarb tart in there,
Ooh.
and then obviously you can just adapt it by putting apple in it as well. But
So you were telling me that you actually, could you pass me the bench scoop?
well, there's that.
There it is, right in the front. Okay, that's right. Put that over there. It's looking nice. Let's.
Winston is giving some tips. He says try microwaving the potatoes and
really?
also always use a ricer.
Less water means
Ah, thanks,
That's
Winston. Winston, are you a chef?
He says this is per the Culinary Institute of America and more importantly, my mother.
That's great. That's good. So I'm just going to cut these off. So microwaving the potatoes. Usually, I actually bake potatoes before making gnocchi.
Why?
Because of less moisture. So you get a drier mash. So
Less water, less
yeah,
Less
heavy.
problems.
less
Yeah.
problems. Yes, less problems.
Yeah, Winston says baking is also great.
Baking is also great. Yeah.
Baking potatoes, not just in general. And then Tammy says, how long should the dough be worked? My gnocchi is really heavy.
Yeah.
Less is more.
So that's what we're finding here is that we don't want to work it. We want to keep our.
Is there a rough
Yeah.
time, would you say? Like no more than 15 minutes?
No, you can't do that. It's,
Too long.
yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to do it along the floor.
So you knead it till it's smooth and then stop.
Yeah. So it's the opposite of pasta where you want to develop the gluten. You don't want to develop it with this. So what next, Johnny? What are you hoping to do?
I haven't really. Well, I had my plan was when I moved home about a year ago to continue the wholesale bakery.
Yeah.
And then social media sort of took off, and one thing led to another. I had an agent, and then was doing a little ebook with all my sort of family recipes, and my agent said you should do a hardback book. And then I was in London for a meeting with Ebury and Penguin, and a year later there's a book. So I've just sort of been going with whatever comes my way, just
Yeah.
sort of, embrace it and see where it goes. So I used to probably have plans in my head, but I've quickly learned that's not how
Yeah.
life works.
So what's the immediate plans? You're promoting the book.
Yeah, just do that. It came out last Thursday, so I think things are a little.
Wow, only last Thursday.
Yeah,
So
things.
it's only been going 3 days. It's only been sort of born 3 days. So yeah.
So just sort of go with that and do all the sort of requirements, and then after that, I honestly, I don't know, just sort of, I've been winging it for the past 12 months, so I'm probably just going to keep doing that.
Winging it sounds good.
Yeah,
Sounds
so
good.
if you have any advice, I'm all ears.
That's good. Finally, thank God we're getting there.
So with these ones, be okay to
Yeah.
pop in like that, you just want to get them. a
I'm
nice
just
little
gonna,
pattern.
I'm just gonna do
yeah.
that. I'm making them slightly smaller, and we're going to,
I'm sort of lost at this point.
yeah. Don't worry. We've got all evening. We're going to be practicing this all evening. Johnny is not leaving until he's perfected this.
Yeah,
Little
alright.
does he could be. So there we go. Any questions for Johnny and his nan, Mimi?
Sorry.
Yeah, Mimi.
Mimi
quite-
is his granny's name.
It is quite an obscure name. Her actual real name is Mary Frances, but she's just always got Mimi. So
Oh, it's a lovely name.
there's been a couple of problems. Like she hasn't flown now in probably 15 years, but like rocking up to the airport and her ticket says one thing and her passport says another. So it's caused a bit of confusion over the years, but that's what I've always known her as.
Yeah. Here we are. We're getting a little bit of shape here. Finalmente.
What's the best thing that she likes to make?
Probably just the traditional breads and just those traditional desserts, like apple crumble, things like that. She'd be fan of a lemon meringue, but we haven't made one in a while, so that might be on the list.
Lemon meringue.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh yeah. Lemon meringue pie.
Yeah. So
And things like, is baked Alaska a kind of thing that's...
I've never done that. That wouldn't be a thing back
Oh,
home.
okay.
Well, no, I've heard of it, but we've never stretched that far. But I like trying everything. Like all recipes, just different, and I'll definitely give it a rattle.
Mm-hmm.
And then also I have to make a Black Forest Gatto because my granddad hasn't shut up about it. He keeps going on. It's like I've been waiting 2 years in this here because we couldn't get a hold of Kirsch, and then whenever he got
You have to make your own.
yeah, the other, I'll have to tell him that. But that's another one on the list for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Next couple of weeks. I'm gonna get that. Let's get these bits together. So we're making them very slowly here. Close up on our gnocchi, coming through on that side. Ridges help for the sauce. So where can we buy the book, Johnny? He's got also on Instagram. He's called The Hungry Hooker.
Yeah, that's
That was your position in rugby.
Yeah, I played
So
hooker.
not everybody knows what a hooker is in rugby. So you better
Yeah.
explain that with a global audience.
Yeah,
It's,
I've had a few odd questions because obviously it could be construed in different ways. But as I played hooker when I was playing rugby, and I mean, I was like really thinking of a name for it, and just hungry hooker popped up, and it's sort of just stuck ever since.
Okay.
So hooker is a position in rugby,
Yeah.
for those
Hooker is
who
a
are
good-
American.
Yeah.
hooker is a position in rugby. Which position is it?
So in the front row, I'll be between the two props. So
Right in the middle.
if you know, yeah, bang in the middle.
So you need to be a very, very sturdy person. You get knocked about a bit.
Yeah, you get a few whacks now. But
Yeah,
I used to probably be about 2 stone heavier, so I've sort of, this is like the mini version of me. So
Okay.
I had to keep a bit of weight on. I think that's just part and parcel with rugby.
Yeah.
You have to, bit of weight. Weight moves weight, so it's a bit heavier back in the
Really
day.
terrifying on a rugby pitch, I might add. Yeah, so thank you. I think we're going to wrap it there because we're going to be doing something.
What would the next step be? How long? Boil them for
we're
these
gonna-
minutes.
So the next step on this is we are going to carefully work our way through these, making little gnocchis. We're then going to boil them briefly and then make a tomato sauce, which is very easy.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Lovely.
So that's. Any other questions before we leave you? We're going to be doing these Pasta Grannies lives regularly. And so tell us what you would like to see. Tell us if you're enjoying them. And Jonny, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for risking yourself for
No,
making
not at all.
gnocchi.
Not at all.
And
Every day's a school day.
yeah, exactly. So thank you for joining.
We'll add the taste test into the description.
Yes, taste test coming up. Taste test coming up. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye, everybody.